Las Vegas news and rumor roundup. Pools, day clubs, and nightclubs are all open. I'm Chris. This is Yellow Productions. I do travel guides that are fun, informative, and entertaining. This is my quarterly Vegas news and rumor roundup. And in this video, in addition to talking about the clubs and pools opening, I'll also be sharing with you new hotels that are opening or reopening or opening every day of the week. We'll talk about what's going on in restaurants. Everybody wants to know about what's going on with buffets. Talk to you about some of the latest shows that are opening, what's going on with sporting events, because sporting events are now allowed in Las Vegas. And then I've also got some other really cool rumors, news, and events to talk about after we talk about sports. So first, let's go ahead and get right into it with what's going on in the world of pools and clubs, kind of all mixed in this area because they relate to each other. So number one pool that's open, it's one of the most popular, is the Encore Beach Club at the Wynn right there. The Encore Beach Club, it's open on weekends. It just opened on March 5th. It's one of these day clubs, so it's open 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. But in order to go to this pool club and almost all the pool clubs I'm going to talk about in this video, you need to buy a table, because these places used to be places that were super packed. Like this is what the Encore Beach Club used to look like before COVID. And so needless to say, they're not doing that anymore right now, which means that they are instead selling tables. That you look at these tables right here in the blue area, and those are what you can book as kind of like a minimum spend is how they do it. So at the Encore, to get a table or a cabana, you need to have a minimum spend of $750 for a table or daybed of 4. Reservations at the Encore go up to $7,000. Now, most of these pool clubs would offer general admission. When this was the case, the Encore used to be between $25 and $55. If you want like a bypass the line ticket, it was $90, but they're not doing general admission because they're not doing this anymore. Everybody has to stay in their spot. And just so you know, if you do go to the pool, you do have to wear a mask when you're not in the water currently. Okay, next up, we have the lounge at the Wynn. So XS is a nightclub at the Wynn, and they're operating as a lounge. What does it mean to be a lounge? Well, to be a lounge, it means they don't have a dance floor, so no dancing. And same deal, the lounge, you need to reserve a table. XS is open Friday and Saturday. Nighttime, 10:30 p.m. is when it opens. The tables are $750 minimum, so same price as the pool club. Usually the table seats 6, now they seat 2, so that one's a little more expensive. But remember, that's $750. That's not like, I mean, you spend it, but then you kind of like redeem it for credits that you then buy for your probably slightly overpriced bottle service. Next up, we've got the Cosmopolitan Hotel. The Cosmopolitan has reopened their Marquee pool. This is a neat pool that overlooks the Strip. It's open Friday, Saturday, and Sunday as well, 11 a.m. to sunset. A bit cheaper here. The day beds that you see there with those pillows on them, they can seat up to 4 people. And so the day beds for 6 start at $400, which includes free juice and soda, so that's a bonus at the Cosmopolitan. It goes up to $3,000 for a grand cabana. Now, also at the Cosmopolitan, they've got their nightclub. They call it Marquee at night. It's just kind of in from the pool. That's Fridays and Saturdays, 10 p.m. till late. Tables there, same thing as at the XS Lounge. You have to get a table. They start at $600. Now, if we head over to the Mandalay Bay, Mandalay Bay has opened its Daylight Beach Club. This is not the main pool at the Mandalay Bay with the wave pool and stuff. This is kind of over near the entrance to the Four Seasons. They're not taking reservations. It's first come, first serve. So you don't actually have to reserve a table to go into Daylight. But this is the smaller section. If you're like a guest of the Mandalay Bay, or all of these hotels generally have their hotel pool that are still open to guests. These that we're talking about here are kind of like the club versions of the pools. Mandalay Bay, they have also reopened the Foundation Room, which is their nightclub on the top of the Mandalay Bay that's run by House of Blues. The Foundation Room is open Wednesday to Sunday. You have to reserve a table as there. That starts at $600. Over at, and this was just a map to show you where the Daylight Club is. Right there in the corner, that's the Daylight Beach Club. And then you can see the size of that in relation to the rest of the Mandalay pool, which, has a lot of kids, is overrun. If you're looking for something that is much more full service, luxurious, where people pamper you all day, it's definitely these ultra pools or the pool clubs. Okay, at MGM Grand, they are reopening their pool club called Wet Republic. It's another daytime pool, open Friday to Sunday. Cheaper there. The day beds start at $350 for 6 people. And as you see in the picture right here, right, masks are required. They're giving you the full mask thing, and they got the bottles because that's what they expect you. To buy. Hyun Woo says, I could barely see that Daylight Club. Yes, because on the map it is pretty small compared to the big size of the pool. Okay, next up we've got the nightclub at Caesar's Palace. Caesar's Palace's nightclub is called Omnia. They have reopened the Omnia nightclub Terrace. This is actually a pretty neat venue because it's another one that's up on like the second or third floor of Caesar's Palace. It overlooks the Strip. We could make that bigger, and so you get Strip views from this terrace. It's an all outdoor venue. They're also requiring admissions here Fridays and Saturday nights. $500 for a Strip view table for 6. Out of these nightclubs, if I was going to go to one, I would probably go to this one because it has the Strip view and it's outside. But SoCal Seth does point out, good Lord, that's a lot of money. That is a lot of money, as Chris Rock would say. Travel Adventures wants to know if there's any notice about Hilton Grand Vacations. I don't know. They weren't on my list of places that I saw that opened them on March 5th. But all of these did open. Liz says, is it warm enough for pools right now in Vegas? The pools are heated. Is the temperature super warm in Vegas? It is not right now. I would say April is probably a good time for it to be warm. Wu Tai says, I remember being kicked out of Caesar's Palace for filming memories. Oh, those are such a comforting memory. All right, so speaking of hotel pools, the one hotel that did announce that their main hotel pool opened this past weekend is at the Strat, which used to be called the Stratosphere. They've rebranded their pool. It is called Wet 24 now. It's on the 24th floor. This one's not a pool club. This is just the one that's open to all guests of the Stratosphere Hotel. So that is now available to you. Opening on March 12th at the Aria is the Liquid Pool. This is another weekend day pool. The little tables for 6 here start at $350. And Kathy says 210,000 subscribers. Well done, Chris. Well, thank you, Kathy, and thank you, recent subscribers who brought us up to 210K. It's always great to hang out with y'all, spend time on these live streams. Okay, so now I want to move over to hotels. So those are all the pool openings. And I do want to point out one more thing about pools before I move into hotels, hotel openings, hotel reopenings, which is that these pool clubs that I talked about, most of them need reservations. If you're staying at a hotel that doesn't have a pool club and you want to go to that hotel's pool, I would highly recommend that you make a reservation for your hotel's pool as well. Pools have been really busy. They've been really popular. They're outdoors. They seem socially distant-y, and they've been keeping the people limits down in them to avoid crowding. So if you're planning to go to your hotel pool, make a reservation so you don't end up getting there and having the staff say, yeah, it's all full, come back in 4 hours, where you're like, might be cold. I don't know that I want to do that anymore. And there was a question of Learbag saying, is the pool at MGM Grand Signature open as of right now? As of right now, the pool is open at the MGM Grand. And Zachary says, give a thumbs up if you love Vegas updates. If you're enjoying this video, yes, please give me a thumbs up. I appreciate it. And it really helps with the YouTube algorithm to let YouTube know that you love it, so they should share this video with more people. Okay, so on to hotel reopenings. Vegas has had really limited midweek traffic. Midweek's been really dead in Vegas. Lots of hotels have been closed midweek, but midweek traffic is now picking up once again. And so here at the Mandalay Bay, they've got the little thing on the pool that says, welcome back, because the Mandalay Bay is now open midweek again. Mandalay Bay, Park MGM, and the Mirage are back to 24/7 operation because people are coming back midweek. Now, in the hotels being sold news, the Venetian and the Palazzo have been sold. They were sold for $6.25 billion. They were previously owned by the Las Vegas Sands Corporation as their only hotel on the Strip. Las Vegas Sands has decided to focus on Asia, particularly their holdings in Macau and Singapore, so they sold the Venetian. Las Vegas Sands did not think that the convention business that they've made most of their money on was going to come back anytime soon, and this was purchased by two companies. Apollo Global Management purchased the hotel, and then VICI Properties purchased the land. And this is fairly common in Las Vegas, where one company owns the land, another company owns the hotel and the brand and all those things. What's going to change at the Venetian? Probably not much. I've seen a lot of stories about, oh, the Venetian's gone, this and that. They're not going to end a moneymaker. So I think the Venetian that we all know and love will likely continue. New hotel opening up, Resorts World still on schedule to open this summer, but one of the rumors is that Resorts World is considering opening smoke-free. That's been a trend in Vegas recently. Park MGM went smoke-free. So will Resorts World open smoke-free? Hard to say as of now, but something they are considering. Now, it is confirmed that Celine Dion is going to be taking up residency at Resorts World. She was scheduled originally to start her residency in 2021, but due to the pandemic, she had to shift some of her other shows, so Celine Dion will not be taking up her new Las Vegas residency at Resorts World until 2022. Another new hotel opening in Vegas is the Virgin Hotel. The Virgin Hotel opens in just a couple weeks here. The Virgin Hotel is opening on March 25th. And what's exciting about the Virgin Hotel, this used to be the former Hard Rock Hotel. The Virgin Hotel has come out and said they will open with no resort fees. 0 resort fees in what they call their no nickel and diming policy. Prices in the rooms are also going to include free Wi-Fi, as every hotel should, and mini bars with street-priced items. That's pretty refreshing. So hopefully no, $20 bottles of Dasani water in those mini bars. I'm thirsty. What am I drinking today? Today I'm drinking a blueberry mountain rock tea from HNT. What's HNT? It's this tea shop called Healthy Natural Tea. And so there's a combination of real fruit. There's strawberry in it. That's why it's got this thick straw. And this kind of roasted oolong tea. Pretty sweet and pretty tasty. Now, the opposite of the Virgin Hotel is some of the Caesars hotels. They're not doing away with their resort fees. They're actually increasing their resort fees. Resort fees at Paris, Planet Hollywood, and the Cromwell are all increasing. Paris and Planet Hollywood, they are now $39 per night. If you include tax, because resort fees are taxed, $44.21. The Cromwell's resort fee is up to $45 or $51.02. Vegas Visual points out that Virgin hotels will also include free parking. That is pretty exciting, and that's good since a lot of hotels are charging for parking. Now, I will point out, Virgin Hotel does have kind of an interesting policy on their website, which states that They do not allow outside food or drink into their hotel because they point their street price mini bars. And I saw a big debate of this online on Twitter recently, and people say, like, actually other hotels in Vegas, like the Wynn, have policies against outside food. It's generally not enforced, but they don't want people to have like kegger parties in their room where they cater, 400 pizzas and a whole bunch of beer kegs. I think if you're bringing in your, water from CVS, I don't think the people are going to hassle you at the Virgin Hotel, though I could be wrong. It'll be interesting to see if that's actually the case or not. Now, a lot of people ask about buffets. Chris, what is going on with buffets? On the Strip, there is currently one buffet that is open. That buffet that is open, you could call it the Strip. It's barely the Strip. It is the South Point Hotel, all the way at the south end of Las Vegas Boulevard. They're currently the only really buffet operating in a casino hotel in Las Vegas. But at Caesars Entertainment, which runs some of the Strip's best buffets, particularly at Caesars Palace, the CEO of Caesars in a earnings call recently said, when asked about are they going to be reopening buffets, he said, "We're going to be smarter about how we are in the food and beverage business," remarking that the company wasn't going to lose $3 million on every buffet at its properties. So actually buffets in Vegas are loss leaders. They don't earn the casino's money. They actually lose money on the buffets. And so I think it's going to be a little while before we see those buffets come back because they actually want to make sure there's customers for them to lure before they open them back. And just like we saw the hotels kind of open in phases, I think we're going to see the buffets open in phases, the popular ones first and then the other ones later. Carlos says, "Rest in peace, Las Vegas buffets." I think they'll be back, just not all at once. It'll just be a little bit of a while. Dave, for one, says, "I love resort fees. Please keep them." Well, Dave, I hope they keep them just for you at some hotels. But for me, when they hear Chris is coming, I I hope they don't. Farrell agrees the resort fees are a ripoff. They are a ripoff. I agree. Connor says, "Do I know if gyms are open in the Strip hotels?" This is one that I think is hit or miss depending upon the hotel. And I haven't been to all the Strip hotels to know whether they're open or closed. But my experience staying in other hotels has been hit or miss that they've been open or closed. Per Las Vegas, gyms can be open, so it's not a state regulation that would be keeping the gyms closed. It would just be the property that would decide to keep themselves closed. Eleanor wants to know if strip clubs are open. Strip clubs are not open. They are closed through at least May because the state is continuing to enforce COVID restrictions through May. And then starting in May, they're turning over restriction enforcing to the counties. And Jeremy wants to know if the buses are running on the Strip. Yes, the buses are running. The monorail is still not running. Okay. Now, another opening that we've talked about that was pending, maybe this and that, the Pinball Hall of Fame Museum, which many of you know is one of my favorites. In my Las Vegas What's New in 2021 video, I said they are building a new location on the Strip, but they were running out of money. Well, the good news is the Pinball Hall of Fame recently got a donation for $79,000 to fund the final construction and finish the Pinball Hall of Fame on the Las Vegas Strip. They're planning to open that location in May. So if you're going to Vegas after May, definitely check out that Pinball Hall of Fame on the Strip. It'll be across from Mandalay Bay on that south section of the real Strip. Okay, let's talk about shows now and sporting events. But first, we'll start with shows, and then we'll talk about sporting events. So great news is that shows are returning to Las Vegas, and in particular, they're returning because one of the COVID rules has been what they call the performer moat, meaning that the pandemic restriction was that there had to be 25 feet between the performers on stage and people in the audience. Well, they've done away with that restriction as of just a couple days ago, and so now it's 6 feet from performers wearing masks or 12 feet from performers not wearing masks. So one of the shows that's reopening coming here on March 17th is Absinthe at Caesar's Palace. David Copperfield is coming back on March 21st at MGM Grand. Also currently open, Carrot Top, Piff the Magic Dragon, Tape Face, The Fantasy Topless Show, MJ Live, Thunder from Down Under, X Burlesque, and The Jabberwockies. So about 10 shows that are currently open, but many more are planning to open. Rumor is that Cirque du Soleil is planning to reopen their shows at a rate of approximately one per month, with the first one they're rumored to be reopening is O. So if you like Cirque du Soleil, good news. They're planning to come back. There have been, a lot of rumors. I mean, Cirque du Soleil declared bankruptcy because they couldn't host all their shows, but they're back again, and they will be ready to rock. Now, another rumor mill, is that Hamilton may be opening on the Las Vegas Strip, coming to a Las Vegas Strip hotel near you. Okay, let's talk about sports now. Sporting events are now allowed to have attendees in Las Vegas. This is pretty huge for a lot of people. The first real sporting event that's hosting fans is the National Hockey League Golden Knights that play at the T-Mobile Arena, which is right in between the New York, and the Park MGM. And they're allowed to restart with 15% capacity, which means 2,600 people per game at their arena. Now, some restrictions: if you are planning to go to a Golden Knights game, they are not allowing bags inside of any kind, which includes small purses or clutches. No bags. And when people leave the stadium, they will dismiss the stadium by groups. So this section, this section, this section. And you'll have to stay in your section group, including using the restrooms. And then they're going to require guests to use what's called the Clear app in order to answer some health questions and clear their health about it. I expect this Clear app is going to be something that we're going to see at a lot more Las Vegas places like conventions and nightclubs. So if you haven't heard of Clear, I thought I would just play a little 90-second video about Clear. This is not a sponsored video by Clear or anything like that. I just think it's something you should be aware of, likely being rolled out in more places. And then just as a side note, many people often when I talk about vaccine status and tests, they're like, Chris, how dare you promulgate these things? I hate these things. Look, I don't love them either, but I'm sharing the news for you of what it's going to take to get into the NHL stadium. So I'll be back in 90 seconds.
Clear Health Pass offers you and your customers the confidence to move forward. Health Pass securely links definitive identity and health, making everyday experiences safer for all. Meet Jane. She's eager to cheer on her favorite team at the stadium, get back to her favorite restaurant, and even get back to the office. Health Pass is the solution for your business to allow safer access, while providing Jane the confidence to get moving. Jane downloads the Clear app for free and enrolls in a few quick steps from the comfort of her home. Jane adds an ID, like a driver's license or passport, snaps a selfie, and confirms she's a real person in a flash. With the ability to link to health providers and lab results, as well as tickets, reservations, and building access cards, Clear Health Pass is what Jane needs to move through the world, making her unstoppable. Jane is now ready to enter any participating venue with Clear Health Pass. Here's how. Jane opens the Clear app and verifies her identity with a photo and real-time health insights. Clear's developed touchless technology can take her temperature and confirm Jane is Jane, so she can walk in with confidence. And because Clear is platform agnostic, scalable, and easily integrated, Clear Health Pass can generate a QR code to scan on your existing hardware to keep Jane and the rest of your customers moving. And best of all, as the trusted leader in biometric identity and access for over 10 years, you and your customers will rest easy knowing their privacy is protected and their data is safe and secure. Always. Clear Health Pass. giving you and your customers the confidence to move forward.
By the way, in the chat, I saw a lot of people thinking that was an ad. It is not an ad. It is not sponsored. I was not paid for it. Clear didn't say nothing. I just assumed you all would want to know about this thing that is coming to Vegas and what you'll have to do if you go to these events. So anybody who said, Chris, why are you playing ads? Again, not an ad. But to be aware that those are the hoops you're going to have to go through when you go to these sorts of events, including an NHL game. So plan to download the Clear Health Pass app, upload your picture, answer some questions. That's what you've got coming ahead for you. Okay. So next up, we have Allegiant Stadium, the home of the Raiders. They're not hosting fans right now because the Super Bowl's over. There's no football playing there, but the Allegiant Stadium has officially started tours of the stadium. Allegiant Stadium is starting their tours with season ticket holders. The ticket prices are $59 for a walkthrough or $80 that comes with a drink and view package. The tours run 75 minutes, include private suites, club spaces, the broadcast booth, the press conference room, locker rooms, and the Al Davis Memorial Torch, and some on-field access. So if you're looking for a tour of Allegiant Stadium and you're a season pass holder, open to you right now. If you're not, well, then stay tuned because it'll be open to the public soon. Okay, now another sporting news is that at Mandalay Bay, where they often host a lot of like boxing matches, things like that, their Mandalay Bay Events Center, is what it's been called, is now being named the Michelob Ultra Arena. So if you hear about the Michelob Ultra Arena and you're like, where is that? That is at the Mandalay Bay. Also about shows, so there's a New York City-based theater company called Soho Playhouse, and they are planning to bring Off-Broadway to downtown Las Vegas. They've got plans for 4 new theater spaces in the Arts District, project estimated at $20 million. They plan for a cabaret space, a 99-seat theater, a black box theater, and a 299-seat Broadway, off-Broadway style theater. And now you're saying, Chris, this is a strange thing to open in a pandemic. Well, they are focusing on being up and running by 2022 or 2023 once the pandemic is hopefully all well and done. And they've not decided yet whether it'll be all in one building or in 4 different buildings. That's part of what they're looking into. But that should be interesting as a way to see more shows come through Vegas because, you know, opening at the casinos, you only get shows that are going to run for a long time. I mentioned Hamilton might be coming to one of those. I saw Monty Python Spam-A-Lot when it was in Las Vegas. But whenever the casinos do Broadway shows, they always kind of like make them smaller or shorter, so it'll be neat to have a place that has like some real off-Broadway shows. And that, okay, so now that we're done talking about shows and sports, let's talk about some of the other interesting news around Las Vegas. First one, the airport is in the process of being renamed. This is not a done deal, but the proposal is to rename Mccarran International Airport to the Harry Reid International Airport. Now, who are these people? Well, Mccarran, that the airport is currently named after, he was senator for Vegas, Nevada. He was author of the 1938 Civil Aeronautics Act, which established the federal government's role in overseeing aviation. Who's Harry Reid? Harry Reid is also a former senator of Nevada. He served as the senator for 30 years and was also the former Democratic Senate Majority Leader. I say that this is in process because it was like voted on by the government, but it hasn't been approved by the FAA, and it's actually still fairly controversial, and so people are floating petitions to not rename it the Harry Reid Airport. So I don't know. When you go, it might just be called Las Vegas International Airport and maybe not even have a name. Hard to say at this point. In the world of closings, The Greyhound downtown Las Vegas station is now closed, single tier. Actually, it's moved. The Greyhound Las Vegas station, it used to be right next to the Plaza Hotel. If you're taking a Greyhound into Las Vegas, you'll be taking it into the new terminal, which is near Las Vegas's airport. And the final news item that I want to share is that it's true, Las Vegas is officially the ninth island. What do you, Chris, ninth island of what? The ninth island of Hawaii. I've had this question a lot from my viewers in Hawaii that say, Chris, is it true that Las Vegas is the ninth island? And as reported by Keihan News, which is a news station out of Honolulu, Hawaii, and looking at data from the U.S. Census Bureau, people from Honolulu, Hawaii move to Las Vegas more than any other metropolitan area in the U.S. There's a ton of people of Hawaiian descent in Las Vegas. And you can look at the ABC stores, which are a chain of Hawaiian convenience stores that have their only mainland U.S. location in Las Vegas. Zippy's, a big fast food, cheap eats chain in Hawaii, is planning to open its first mainland locations in Las Vegas. But if you say, well, Chris, why is it, or why are all these Hawaiians there? Well, it started with what's called the California Hotel, also known as the Cal, in downtown Las Vegas. It was opened by somebody who lived in Hawaii, and it didn't do so well with the locals or the regular tourists, and so he started marketing his flights and hotel to people in Hawaii and offering like $9 flights to Las Vegas if they stayed at the California Hotel for 5 days. And that's how Las Vegas became really popular with Hawaiians, was the marketing from the California Hotel. And so if you're looking for good Hawaiian food in Las Vegas, you can check it out, the California, or a lot of other places in downtown Las Vegas have opened up around there to serve the local Hawaiian community. But if you're going to the California Hotel, you'll find in their cafe some items like oxtail soup, Simon, and butterfish.
Fellow explorers, it is now Q&A time. If you've got a question, I've got an answer.
All right, it is now time for the Q&A. If you have asked a question and I haven't answered it yet, go ahead and hit me up again, because there have been a lot of comments and it's hard to keep up with everything. So, Utai says, we need a nice $9 flight now. We do need those $9 flights again. Brad says, I love that about downtown Las Vegas, the good Hawaiian food. Dave says we should call maybe the airport, we should name it after Elvis. That'd be cool. Or you could call it the King's International Airport. And Carol says, I'm from Hawaii. No one says Keihan. It's spelled out Khon. Thanks for the ninth island update. I call it Keihan. I like it. So, yes, I get that maybe people in Hawaii always spell it out. But this is just like Zion as a canyon in Utah, the national park. You know, everybody in the rest of the world calls it Zion, and the people who live there say, Chris, it's not Zion, it's Ziyun. I'm like, no, all right. Nobody else knows that except the people who live there. Ryan says, what's my favorite personal hotel in Vegas? My favorite is the Venetian. Christine says, are the rides at the Strat open yet? I don't know at the top of my head. I'm sure if you went to their website, it would probably tell you. I've not heard. I know the roller coaster to New York is. I don't know about the Strat. Hyun Woo says, what's your favorite restaurant and cuisine in Las Vegas? That's a great question. I'm going to punt that question to next week, where if everything goes as planned, next week's live stream will be about the best food in Vegas, and I will have special guests, Bill and Lisa from Bill and Lisa's Travel and Food Adventures channel on YouTube. Zachary says, should I bet on red or black? Always black. Vegas wants to know if there's a hotel called Nevada in California that is big with Hawaiians. I don't know. Maybe Vegas Visual. It's kind of funny to name a Hotel California that then markets to Hawaiians. Larry wants to know, will all Las Vegas pools be open? I think at this time of year you will see most Las Vegas pools be open. Chelsea says, I spent $40 on one drink at a Vegas pool party. Are drinks always that expensive in Vegas? At pools, they are always that expensive. Pools, nightclubs, they're ridiculously expensive. The best tip, if you want to get something to drink, go off the strip. Don't go to the strip hotels. Kirk wants to know if I'm going to get a Tesla. Probably not. I drive a Lexus NX as my primary driver. My yellow car is a Lexus IS300, but that's not a great baby mobile. The NX is the better one for our traveling princess. Liz wants to know if the carnival games are open at the Circus. I've not been there recently to check, but I would think so. Piotr says, do you need a car to visit the Hoover Dam for a day? Yeah, there are tours that'll go there too, but it's, I think, best to have a car. I don't think there's any good public transportation to get you there. Nightwolf wants to know if I fly first class. Sometimes, if I get upgraded to first class, I generally don't pay for first class tickets, though, because they're really expensive. James wants to know if I get a kickback. I don't get a kickback from nobody about nothing on this video. I really like the Venetian because I like the theming best in it. I also really like the Wynn and the Encore. If you want to know my favorites without casinos, I really like what used to be the Mandarin Oriental. It's now the Waldorf Astoria. And then the one I recommend for budget-conscious travelers is the Marriott Grand Chateau. The Wu-Tang Life wants to know, what are the biggest scams in Vegas? I got a video all about that. If you search for Las Vegas scams, you will find it. Anthony wants to know, how's California doing with all of its restrictions? Definitely restricted. I think we live in the most restricted place here in the U.S. But good news in California, theme parks are reopening April 1st. Theme parks can have rides once again, so that's pretty exciting. This past weekend, OC Girl and I, we went to the Knott's Berry Farm Boysenberry Festival, so you can look forward to that video coming out. I'll probably put it out on Thursday this week. Usually I upload videos on Friday, but since people might be going to the Boysenberry Festival on Friday, looking for videos on Thursday, that video is probably going to come out on Thursday. Rihanna wants to know what I think about Omega Mart. It looks really cool. That's really cool. I'm looking forward to it. Both exploring Area 51, Area 15, and exploring Omega Mart. Anthony wants to know, when are you heading to Vegas again? I hope to get to Vegas again when Resorts World opens, so that might be, in a couple months. And related to first class LA to Vegas, it's only 45 minutes. I usually drive from Orange County to Vegas because you can do it in like 4 or 5 hours depending upon traffic, assuming it's good. If I fly, I take Southwest, and there's no first class on Southwest. Christine wants to know if I play slots or table games. I play slots. I like the mini games on slots. I like it to be mindless. I know I'm not going to win a ton of money anyway. Jeremy wants to know Circus or Dumpster. It depends whether you mean the manor rooms or the tower rooms. The tower rooms would be better than the dumpster. The dumpster, a clean dumpster, would probably be better than the manor rooms. Tony says, Chris, your video on American myths last week was brilliant, very funny at times. Tony, I appreciate it. Thanks for the kind words and the 2 thumbs up. Piotr wants to know, do I ever stay downtown or always on the Strip? I always stay on the Strip or off the Strip, but never downtown, usually around the Strip. Booba wants to know if the timeshare barkers are still in the Strip hotels. Of course they are. They make a lot of money in timeshares. Rick wants to know better properties, MGM or Caesars. I like the MGM properties better than the Caesars properties. In case you didn't hear me, what I'm drinking when I mentioned it earlier, this is a blueberry mountain rock tea. I might have said strawberry before, but it's blueberries with roasted oolong tea from this place called Healthy Natural Tea. Pretty good. And probably healthy. Kirk says I don't seem to like camp. I don't like camping. Really, at all. No, I like nice hotels. Kirk says, what's going on with the bullet train that's supposed to go from Los Angeles to Vegas? On again, off again. I think right now it's off again because I think they didn't get one of their bonds. That was the last I heard on the train. I don't know when that's ever going to be there. Christine asks if I think a day trip to Catalina Island is worth it if you're limited on time in the LA area. If you were in the LA area for like 2 weeks, then I would say take a day trip to Catalina. If you're in LA for a week, I would say it's not worth your time. Kirk says he stayed at the Manor Rooms in Circus and survived. And, now you have a story probably to tell about it, too. Kevin says, are a lot of wedding chapels open in Vegas? There's always people wanting to get married in Vegas. And so I'm sure you will find plenty of wedding chapels open, particularly if you want to get married by Elvis, right? Where else in the world could you get married by Elvis? The only buffet that's open on the Strip is the South Point Hotel. That is it. Piotr says best pools in Vegas. The Mandalay Bay, I think, has one of the biggest and best pools. I like Caesar's Palace, too. I like the whole Roman theme as part of Caesar's Palace. So those are my 2 favorite ones. Christine loves the videos. Thank you, Christine. I appreciate it. Kyle says Hell's Kitchen, worth it. Chris, don't think any of the celebrity chef restaurants are worth it from a strictly price to value ratio. If you're a big fan of that celebrity chef, then people like them because of the experience, but value for the food that you get, likely not. Let's see. Brad says no super chats. I've not turned on super chats because I want everybody to know they're equally loved. Brad, I appreciate you asking. If you're enjoying what you're seeing here today, give me a thumbs up. I would really appreciate it. Kirk says I should do a video on the Valley of Fire. And I know you asked earlier, Kirk, if I've been there. I have not been there yet. But he wants to know what's my favorite McDonald's item. When I go to McDonald's, I generally get a Big Mac, French fries, iced tea, and that's usually not enough to fill me because the Big Mac is small, so then I typically also get a double cheeseburger. So my burger of choice at McDonald's is a Big Mac and a double cheeseburger. I also like the Quarter Pounder. Those are my favorite things. BNAP wants to know if I've ever eaten a Sinatra's. I have not. The Wu-Tang Life asked the cheapest place to drink on the Strip. Yeah, happy hour at the Flamingo. They offer it's really cheap. It's beers for a couple dollars. If you watch my video on the cheapest eats on the Las Vegas Strip, I go into the cheapest place to drink and give you the specifics of that one. Bugstrong says, shout outs to everyone's favorite Topher. Yes, shout out to everyone's favorite Topher, whichever one that may be. New York says, what's the best free attractions? Bellagio Fountains, Volcano, Flamingo Habitat. I think the Mirage Volcano is the most epic. Everybody loves the Bellagio Fountains. It's cool. It's a big fountain. There's big fountains in other places in the world. Disneyland has a big fountain show. That's really better than the Bellagio, the World of Color show at Disney California Adventure. But the Mirage Volcano, that's just epic. It's loud, it's amazing. And how often do you get to see a volcano erupt, even though it's fake? Piotr says, did I put this one up already? I just thank you, Piotr. I appreciate the kind words. Kevin wants to know, what are my thoughts on the Wynn? I like the Wynn. But if you're thinking about staying there, the Wynn's a little stuffy. If you're looking for stuffy and away from the hustle and bustle of the Strip, then it's a cool place. But I don't feel like Wynn is where the action is. I feel like Wynn feels a little bit removed from the action. Although I think that's the vibe they are going for. Casso wants to know, what's the most romantic hotel in Vegas? If you're okay with the fact that the Paris is a little tired, because it's been there for a while, I think the Paris, with this whole kind of Parisian theme, is pretty romantic. Jill points out a great place for cheap drinks is the Ellis Island Hotel Casino. It's a couple blocks off the Strip, but less than a $10 Uber ride to go there. Kirk wants to know if they offer foot-long hot dogs for $1 anymore. Not on the Strip. The South Point Hotel has the cheapest hot dogs. I think they're $1.50 maybe. Kirk wants to know if there's stinky tofu in Vegas. I bet we could find some in Chinatown. But but I've not eaten any. Alex wants to know if I should do a live stream with Jacob's life in Vegas. Alex, he is on my list of people to reach out to at some point. And Joe is leaving for Vegas on Thursday, staying at Harrah's remodel room. Is pretty nice. Excellent, Joe. I hope you enjoy Harrah's. Kirk wants to know if I like the Traveling Princess to eat at McDonald's. The Traveling Princess has not yet eaten at McDonald's. She has eaten an In-N-Out burger, and by that she's eaten the French fries there. My goal is to keep her at In-N-Out and less at McDonald's. I know she'll definitely want the Happy Meals at some point, but we're just not starting that anytime real soon. Best hotels for families. I think for families, a lot of the extended stay hotels are good. The Residence Inns, the Homewood Suites, those sort of things where you get a bit of a bigger room. So I would look at those just a little bit off the strip. Vegas Visual wants to know if the Boring Company has expanded beyond the Encore line. Yeah, I think they're still... I think they've had those two. They've got like Resorts World and the Encore that they're building right now. I don't think they've gotten approval to do everything yet. I know they want to, but I don't think we've seen them starting construction on that yet. Let's see. And Eric points out that the rides of the Strat are open because Jacob the carpetbagger, showed people riding it. Thank you for that, Eric. I appreciate. This is the one thing. It's like, one person cannot know everything. And so that's what I love about hanging out with all of you is I often learn things on these live streams myself. Naj says, big kiss to the little explorer. She is so cute. Thank you, Naj. I will pass the kiss on. Nightwolf wants to know if I've ever been to Burning Man. I have never been to Burning Man. That sounds a little bit too much roughing it to me, knowing that I don't like camping. Grant wants to know when I think international travel will be back. Depends what you mean by back. I think we're going to see a lot of these, like the vaccine passport concept, to restart international travel, where you got to show you've been vaccinated or things like that. I think we'll see that starting to come back this summer for countries saying hey, if you've been fully vaccinated, you've gotten your 2 shots, come on in. Probably full international travel the way it would come on in, we're open. Probably not till 2022. The Wu-Tang Clan says, where can you get free parking on the Strip? My favorite place for free parking is the Venetian. They got a lot of good free parking. The Planet Hollywood has good free parking as well. BNAP wants to know if I've been in the Neon Museum. I have never been in the Neon Museum. Every time I think I want to go, it's booked or the tickets are sold out. It's on my list of places that I do want to go. Piotr wants to know, what's now the oldest hotel on the Strip? I don't have all the dates memorized, so that's hard for me to say off the top of my head. Circus seems like it's pretty old. Kirk asks if I've seen the Hawaii airfare. It's like $150 round trip. Yes, we actually booked some tickets from LAX to Oahu for like $190. So pretty cheap for direct flights to Hawaii. And so that's an answer to Terry's question, where are we going next on vacation? We are going to the fabulous island of Oahu in Hawaii. We're not going to the 9th island, and I guess we're going to the first island, or the capital of Hawaii. Jeff wants to know if I notice Uber and Lyft being more expensive in Vegas. I generally don't take Uber and Lyft in Vegas because I generally drive from California, so I don't spend a lot of time Ubering or Lyfting it around. Vegas wants to know any rumors on when developing the vacant lot across the street yet. I've not heard any. Ryan says the oldest might be the Flamingo. The Flamingo is pretty old too. Chris wants to know if Treasure Island still does the pirate show. Unfortunately not. The pirate show is long gone at the Treasure Island. They still have the 2 ships, but they don't go anywhere. And Carlos busts out the knowledge and says it's the Flamingo Hotel because they opened in 1946. Thank you for that. Ethan wants to know if I've been to the Pinball Hall of Fame. The current Pinball Hall of Fame, I love it. I try to visit it almost every time. But I have not been to the new one because it's not open yet. Vic wants to know if I've ever been on an ocean cruise. We did a 1-day cruise from Sweden to Norway. That was, I guess that's an ocean cruise. OC Girl kind of gets seasick, so we don't do a lot of cruises. New York says, our thoughts on the northern area of the Strip, Sahara, Strat, seems like this area is starting to reinvent itself. I think that part of the Strip will get better when Resorts World opens, because, you know, like, right now, you get to the Fashion Island shops and the Wynn, and you're like, it's pretty dead after there. That's the only thing I walk past that for is Tacos El Gordo. And so I think when Resorts World opens and revitalizes that, I think we'll see more people walking in that direction again. When the monorail is running, then I think the Sahara is a pretty good place to stay, because you can hop on the monorail and get to the rest of the Strip pretty easily. It's pretty unappealing, I think, when the monorail is not running. Piotr wants to know why my favorite color is yellow instead of blue, red, or orange. I like yellow. Piotr, I answer that question in my frequently asked questions video. Short answer, I got into an accident when I was 16 with a drunk driver. I needed to get my car repainted after it was fixed. Having gotten into an accident with a drunk driver, I should say the drunk driver got into an accident with me because they ran into my car. I went to the paint shop and I looked up at the board and I said, what is a color somebody will see me in? I saw yellow and I had to paint my car yellow. And that's where everything from Yellow Productions and yellow being my favorite color comes from. Kirk wants to know if I visited the biggest souvenir shop in Vegas, which is on this part of the Strip we've just been talking about near the Strip. I have visited it. I haven't bought anything from it. But it's interesting just to go into this huge classic souvenir shop. BNAP also loves Tacos El Gordo. Been to them in San Diego, and the Al Pastor is money. The Al Pastor is money. Those who don't know Al Pastor, it's basically some marinated pork that rotates kind of like gyros style, that they kind of, shave off with like a sword sort of thing and put in your taco. It is pretty good. So if you want to know when we're going to Hawaii, we are going to Hawaii this summer. Big Euro says, does Vegas smell like skunk? Do you mean there's people smoking the ganja, the weed, things like that? Yeah, there's a lot of people on the Strip. You will smell their smoking when you walk by. Adventure Mate can't wait to stay at the Nomad again and dine at Italy. Italy is really good eats. Anybody coming to Los Angeles, you should also visit Italy in LA. There's one in Century City that I think is better than the one in Las Vegas. The Vegas, Italy is pretty small. Rob wants to know what's the origin of Topher. Give him a fist bump. Fist bump, Topher. Bah! Topher, the original Topher, Girl and I bought at the San Diego Zoo. San Diego Zoo is famous for its pandas. We bought him there. We sort of joked that he was my brother who was a panda. I'm Chris, he's Topher. Together we make Christopher. And he just began traveling with us because we thought it would be fun when we make our videos to have a, panda host. Girl doesn't like to be in front of the camera, so that was her way to voice a character into the video. So if you're watching the videos and you're like, why does Chris have this super girlish voice when he voices the panda? It's because that is a girl's voice. That's Girl's voice. Tim Cook wants to know if I have any Vegas tattoos. I do not have any Vegas. I don't have any tattoos, period. So, no Vegas tattoos. My Tube wants to know, what's my favorite donut? My favorite donut is an apple fritter. In particular, like there's good apple fritters and bad apple fritters. Good apple fritters are ones that have a lot of apples in them. So, I like apple fritters. Ethan also points out there's an Italy in Dallas, Texas. Jeff asks if Pink's Hot Dogs is open in Hollywood. Pink's Hot Dogs reopened about 2 weeks ago in Hollywood. So if you're looking for that hot dog, which I think the one on the Strip closed. So I don't think you can get them on the Las Vegas Strip anymore. Bill wants to know if I've heard anything about when the buffets will be open. I have heard nothing about buffet reopening, and trust me to say that as soon as I hear anything about buffets reopening, y'all will be the first to know. And by the way, if you ever wonder, Chris, when do you do these live streams? Well, if you haven't yet, head on over to update.yellowproductions.com and sign up for my email list. Anytime I'm going to do one of these videos, I always put it out on an email a couple days before, so you'll know the date, the time, and the topic so that you can join these streams live.
Yes, it's the time you've been waiting for. It's time for the giveaway.
Okay, it is giveaway time, and if you answer this question correctly, you will win a Yellow Productions Crew shirt shipped to you anywhere in the world. And I said one of the rumors is that Cirque du Soleil is planning to reopen on the Strip, and I rumored about one particular show reopening first. If you can put the name of the first Cirque du Soleil show that I have said is rumored to reopen, confirmed by nobody except me, then you will win a Yellow Productions Crew shirt. While we're doing that, Nightwolf wants to know Star Trek or Star Wars. I love both. If I had to pick one, I would probably pick Star Trek just for all the different series. But I do really like The Mandalorian currently. And the winner...
And now we have a winner chicken dinner.
Sabrina Jablonski, congratulations. You win a Yellow Productions Crew shirt. Send me an email to chris@yellow.net with 2 W's, or you can send me a message on Facebook. Let me know what size shirt you want and where you want me to send it, and I will get that right to you. Well, everybody, it's been a pleasure hanging out with y'all today. Stay tuned. Assuming all goes with planned, a week from today, I'll be doing the best food in Las Vegas with Bill and Lisa from their Food and Travel Adventures channel, as by popular request from all of you fellow explorers. And then this Thursday, it's already edited, so it'll be coming out, will be my Knott's Berry Farm Boysenberry Festival video. As usual, I won't say goodbye because I'll see you all in one of those 2 videos.